Hello and welcome to the second event of the Academy series here at GPVWC. My name is David Jundt and we're here at the Turkish track of Istanbul Park near Tuzla. We are here for two races tonight, both over 12 laps, one with qualifying set by qualifying results and the second after a reverse race, a reverse grid of top 15 if I remember. We're currently now in qualifying, and I think we've already been hearing in the background, or well, at least I've been hearing, our double winner from the first round at Bahrain has already been putting his car onto provisional pole for now, as Mr. Mateusz Majka is sitting in first place here in the yellow and black car. Very stylish, by the way. Very good livery worker. We've got 9 minutes to go, and as my car currently sits in first, we've got some of the usual suspects, or the suspects for the first round again. Joshua Dexter sitting currently in second place, just about 1.5 tenths adrift. Third is Mr. Cox, who's Knox, sorry, always thinking of like Peter Cox, the race driver. Then we've got Ken Rochtjarv in fourth, and Mr. Personi in fifth. And there's also another Estonian on the grid with Mr. Kuritz in sixth place. All of them nearly being within half a second, but there's still time to improve, so track will get more grippy, and then we might see some more close times, as we're here looking at Kasper Kuritz in sixth with the, well, number 6. I think we've got them a bit more than just one number 6, but I'm unsure because I haven't seen deliveries in the game yet. But here we are on board with him as we're heading here down to turn 7. Uphill turn, difficult. You get rotation here as the car gets light, and he slides around, but looks neat. Then here we go into the very famous triple apex turn 8, which always in the setup, showing how very important if you like have a well-balanced car, and it will also very important about tire wear through the race, how hard you take the turn, how fast you're willing to go, as he has navigating the chicane here and down the straight onto the kink and the last long straight into the twisty section. He's currently not that far away. He's up on his time so far, 41.9. Possible to improve, maybe get up to like 4th place. With just about 7 minutes to go. Looking neat here out the last turn. Been seeing already some difficulty in driving, but he's sadly not quite managing to improve on his best lap time so far. Just about like 2 tenths slower, but looked very neat. So the car looks balanced right now, which we've also been seeing in the first race, that maybe not in qualifying, maybe not as much, but the car seemed a bit difficult to handle so far, like for the new, kind of new generation, at least under the hood in Academy and FS2. Just a reminder that the Academy cars are now 1-1 versus the FS2 cars, so Academy drivers that are having the free entry racing here, they will be able to more or less use what they've been learning here to get into FS2. For example, when they are offered an emergency or a one-off drive for the Academy team for the FS2 races. So they will just be, it's just easier than last year where the car was not quite the same and the values were a bit different. So this time they can, what they learn, what they practice, they can take it to FS2 and then also race for good results. As we have Mark McNaughton in 8th place so far, 42.77. I think that was no improvement if I looked at that right. Here's Domenico Scarpelli, who is, if I remember right, he should be a regular in FS2 now. At least I remember like Apex Grand Prix. If I remember right, he was a team owner. Still have to catch back up on that. But I have been told he's a team owner of Apex Grand Prix. First, they are a new team. We'll see them for the first time at Melbourne in just about over a week's time, if I remember correctly. So we'll wish them good luck, as Domenico is driving himself in the Academy Series. He's currently 15th, which is, I think, usually you can see him a bit higher, but maybe also a bit of adjustment to a different car, because it's not quite the same anymore. And as I said, we've seen some balancing. It seemed difficult for drivers to get the balancing and the rotation of the car right at the first round. Maybe some will already have gotten better with it, as Micah still leading up there, and he's still proving that he's very fast, and people should probably have a look on him, especially if it's 2 managers, to get him into their team, I'm guessing. As Domenico is now up on his time, if I see that right. Like, sometimes difficulty how much he's actually gaining, but he was 3 tenths down, now he's 5 tenths down, but it was faster than his previous middle sectors, so maybe still a chance to get close to his old time. It's a 42.8, so he's up to P10. Nice, top 10 for now. As he just improves ahead of Mr. Combi. 12th, we've got Jared van der Weide, who's also been a previous Carol ladder driver, so he's not a stranger to the grid. As he's currently also looking to improve, and he seems to be a bit faster, possibly also managing to get into the top 10. First sector he was up, second sector he was a bit slower. It's all to play for. Maybe he can gain a bit back in the twisty section. A bit difficult to get into these turns from like top speed. Seems to be has to really wrestle the car a bit in with like full lock or hard turning. 42.771, and he has taken Scarpelli's 10th place for himself, and he's just within a second to Micah on pole, as there's just 3 minutes to go. As Mark McNaughton, we see here again in P8, who's a bit faster. There's a slight gap of about 2 tenths to Benton Reader in P7. Maybe he can also improve. And here's Mattia Bossoni in the red and black car, also in turn 8. Looking very safe here. And he's also improving on his lap time, or it looks, first sector look good. Let's see if he can hang on to it. Looks very tidy here. You know, it's sometimes difficult to say. Sometimes tidy doesn't look that fast. Yes, he's losing out a bit in the middle sector, but it's still looking good. It's been improvement. Get closer to Joshua Dexter and Kaspar Korit in 3rd and 4th respectively. Early turn-in, but he can take it nicely, close to the curbs, good line. Bit far away from the curb, but still kind of okay, just about on the track there. And it's a 42.2, but it's sadly not an improvement if I think like that. At least he's still staying in 5th position, which is still very good. Very good in Academy. The main thing is always to learn, but of course people are competitive. So they also want to be as high as possible. Here we are back to, actually no, to Massimo Belloni. Always gotta be careful about your Bossonis and Bellonis. Massimo is currently 19th. Let's see if we can improve. Also the middle sector seems to be a difficult place, like several drivers improving in the first on their best time, but the middle sector is a bit difficult. But then again, Istanbul is a difficult track to get right. You really need a rhythm through the turns. So if you miss one apex or miss one turn, then it's a bit difficult to gain back the time, as he's setting a 43.6 on this lap. And he's actually gained a place, if I see that right. He's now 18th, ahead of Mr. Pano. Now in P9 is Alex Tong, which is, I haven't checked the results, but he's, I would say, a newcomer, rather new driver. I think I've already read that he knows Joshua Dexter quite a bit, at least from what I see in the conversions in the community. As he's having some green sectors, which looking very good, so could be an improvement here. A late apex, tight second one. This could be a bit difficult. Okay, this one is tight on the inside. Let's see if it's working out for him. It's a 42.997. Ooh, yes, the final sector took quite some time out of him. That could have probably been way closer, and it didn't quite work out in the end. Here, Mr. Knox was actually able to beat Micah in the first sector, but the middle sector was a bit slower. He's still very close, depending all on here, and is just about losing out. It's just about 50,000 slower than Micah at the end of the lap. That was very close. So the middle sector is indeed very tricky to get right, and he was very close. So Micah has some position again in this race, and I'm glad to see that Mr. Knox, James Knox, is really on it right now. As here's Christian Wasda, another stalwart of GPVWC. At least over the he's got the Remco the past few years. 1-2. I'm not sure how long, but he's already being a name here. He's currently 14th and still trying to improve, as he's green in the first, in the second sector. So possible to maybe get close to the top 10. Could be difficult. Would need to find like about 2/10 to get there. Need close, running a bit wide. Oh, that cost him a bit. Oh, the back end stepping out. Just about very wide. Oh, he spins into the barrier. Oh, yes. Here's also Kurt Rochtjav, who is now 6th, just about half a tenth behind Mr. Bozzoni. Daniel Bentonreader is here in 7th, but had to sadly to abandon his lap. Aaron Curtis, a name I know, currently 13th and is improving to 8th place. Yeah, that's more of what I would expect from him. I'm quite sure it's him. I know him like I know a few of them in like in other communities, like the Bentonreader, Curtis, and Heyman are like often racing together. So top 10 is a very good result for him. As we have the qualifying now completed, here we've got the first top 10. Mateusz Majka sits on pole with a 41.790, just about ahead of James Knox. Third is Joshua Dexter. Fourth is Kaspar Kuritz. Fifth is Mattia Bozzoni. Sixth, Kurt Rochtjav. Seventh is Daniel Bentonreader. Eighth is Aaron Curtis. Ninth, Mark McNaughton. And completing the top 10 is Domenico Scarpelli. All still within a second. Same goes for Alex Tong in 11th. Jared van der Weide in 12th. And then outside of that second, in 13th, we've got Steve Combi. 14th, Christian Wasdar. 15th is a very long-time returnee, Matthew Mappel. 16th, Max Heyman. 17th, Janusz Pano. 18th is Caroline Harvik. 19th, Massimo Belloni. And 20th is Gerrit de Vries. On the third page, we see another stalwart, Nikos Evangelidakis. Martin Riedberg in 22nd. Dan Tyne in 23rd. I think it's Teen, but there's a wrong character in the name. 24th, Alice Stone. 25th, Lewis Smith. 26th is Henry Buckland. 27th, Lucas Feilin, who's apparently trying another from the back of the grid. And 28th is Kyle McManus. So we've got another 28 people that will be taking part in this race. And glad to see that we're about hitting the 30 driver mark again. I think we'll take a short break now and we'll be back very soon for the first race. Welcome back to the Academy series here from Turkey, as we're just waiting for the start of the first race. And with me now is Edward Hunter after dinner. Hello, Ed.
Yep, an hour of Beaver Scouts and then dinner, and then this. Yeah, so it's a very, very exciting qualifying session. Great to see lots of new faces in Academy this season, not least the very impressive Mateusz Majka leading the grid then for race 1. So everyone here with a little bit of something to prove, as tends to be the case in Academy. It's of course the entry-level tier, and don't forget to go to GPVWC.com yourself if you want to look up how to take part. Of course, it's pretty simple as long as you've got as long as you've got a wheel, pedals, and R Factor 2, you should be golden. So that's the sort of minimum requirements, I guess. But David, I think everyone is expecting Mateusz Majka to just disappear into the distance here.
Probably, but then again, it was very close in qualifying, as we saw that he was leading James Knox, Joshua Dexter. We're already seeing the grid scroll through, as we previously talked about them.
We skipped the first 2 rows, so we'll forget about this third one.
There was also
Kelly in 9th then, and it's already gone. Aaron Curtis and Christine Vaslis. We got no live timing, so we're sort of having to guess here at 13th and 14th. Matthew Maple 15th with Max Hyman in 16th and heading up row 8. Janice Pano is 17th with Caroline Harvig, Hunterbird simulation driver, in 18th. Massimo Belloni is 19th, ahead of Jerry De Vries. 21st, it's Nikos Evangelakadikis. Then it's a Martin Wrightbird in 22nd. Dan Fan in 23rd, ahead of Alice Stone in 24th. Alice Stone racing with a sprained wrist, broken wrist, I believe, actually. Louis Smith is 25th. Henry Buckland is 26th. And Luca Filin, with no time in qualifying, bringing up the rear and hoping to show the Academy field how it's done, I guess. Filin, the very, very experienced driver in FS2 and FS1, of course.
I've noticed we've lost about someone because we're down to 27 instead of 28.
Okay, let's do it again very quickly. First row, Mateusz Majka and James Knox. Then row 2 is Joshua Dexter and Kasper Curtis. Row 3, Mattia Bissoni and Kurt Rotjarv. Row 4, Daniel Bentonrider and Mark McNaughton. Great to see Mark back in the top 8. Then 9th, Domenico Scarpelli, Alex Tong. That rounds out your top 10. Then it is Jared van der Weide and Steve Comby in 11th and 12th. So that pretty much brings us up to date then. Last half, then first half of the field. But we got through everyone, thankfully. And now they're all lining up to take the start here at Istanbul Park Circuit. Very narrow turn 1, bit of a pinch point. So it's going to be tricky for those further down the field to avoid contact with one another, David.
Yeah, I'm looking here to see if Knox can maybe get a jump on Majka and get him before he could get away. So we're just waiting for the lights to come on.
Yeah, and keep your eyes on Joshua Dexter as well. Very experienced in Academy. Still looking, I believe, for his first podium in this category. So he will be eyeing up the 2 cars ahead of him. Very, very enviously indeed, and desperate to hold on to that P3 as we wait for the lights to illuminate. And they should be going any minute now. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5. And when they go out, we'll be underway then here at Istanbul. And as expected, a clean getaway for Mateusz Majka. But look at Joshua Dexter's made a lightning getaway up to P2 almost. But James Knox reasserts himself around the outside. Behind it looks like most of the field has got through cleanly. There's a brief yellow flag as Knox almost hits the back of Majka as they go uphill into turn 3. James Knox tries to look for a way around the outside, dives deep into the complex. As they're about to go 3 wide behind. And somehow everyone gets through mostly unscathed there.
Yeah, nice to see that they kept each other. Slight tire banging, but very nice start so far. I hope to see the same in FS2 here. Well, generally, not at this track, but the same kind of standards, as they're nicely, well, not spaced about. They are going side by side into turn 8 here, which is a difficult task.
And he's been overtaken by Bentonrider. That looks like Curtis and Tong have come together and are dropping down the field as well, so plenty of action. But Scarpelli from, I think, 15th on the grid has got up to 7th then. Just ahead of Bissoni, and that's McNaughton tagging the back of Bissoni round at turn 10 and 11. Oh, and Bassoni rejoins right next to Christian Vazda, who will not be pleased to see him.
Gosh, should I mention? Yeah, it was slightly naughty, but it just avoided more damage than that. But he's probably not going to be happy with that.
As we look up ahead, Benton Ryder having a look at Curtis for 5th, but unfortunately having to slot in behind as they cross the line to complete lap 1. So does Mateusz Majka, just half a second ahead of James Knox. Then it is Joshua Dexter 3rd, Rotjarv in 4th, Curtis 5th, Benton Ryder 6th, Scarpelli 7th, Bassoni 8th, Mark McNaughton 10th, and Max Hyman rounds out the top 10 after just overtaking Christine Vazda.
It'll be interesting to see if Mr. James Knox is better on tire wear or not, and if he can keep Micah honest for the rest of the race, so he can't run away. And if you're better on tire preservation, then you probably at the end you have a chance to attack. And this track, it could be important. Like as I said, turn 8 might take a lot of your right-hand tires, so there's a possibility if you set the car up for that and you have a slightly softer. Oh, there's someone who's spinning off in the violet car.
It's Vazda.
Yeah, Vazda. Oh, it's getting from like bad to worse for him, down to 22nd for now.
Yeah, certainly struggling, Christian, after being tagged around and sort of almost kind of bullied in this right. Well, he had someone come out right in front of him and then got clearly spun around there, or may have spun himself as well. That's a very wide line from Jerry De Vries through turn 8 then, and Luca Filin follows suit. He's already up to 15th then, so he's taken reverse group pole away from Caroline Harvick. Harvick isn't done with him yet though, trying to get back on song then as they go uphill towards turn 12 then. So Caroline Harvick will be very, very eager.
Oh,
Scarpelli is out.
That
puts Caroline
sounds
Harvick
like a
back in reverse
disconnection.
group pole then.
It seems
really
so out of nowhere that it seems there could be a disconnection for him. Very unlucky to have this as Lucas Filin here going for P30, no, just about on the inside. As Knox is taking the fastest lap time. There's
Harvick in trouble.
Yeah, difficult because this last complex is allowing several lines to be taken and they sometimes cross over, and then this happens as Silent is looking to take P13 here into turn 1. But he's on the inside. Just about denied.
Yeah, Jerry De Vries getting very defensive indeed now, as Harvick unfortunately finds Maple getting past her, and that'll be annoying for her with that little mistake at the final corner, setting her back a place. But no reason to give up yet. Still 9 laps left in this race then, as we look at James Knox continuing to pile the pressure on Mateusz Majka. We've not seen him challenge this way so far this year, but of course we've not had too many races this year, only 2. And Majka, the biggest challenge he had was that battle against Caitlin Penny, wasn't it, in race 2 at Bahrain. He was comfortably ahead of Alessandro Maggio in the first race then, so the Polish driver definitely driving a little bit on his wing mirrors, and Knox sees opportunity knocking, to use a terrible pun, and and may well be looking to pace himself and keep his tyres in better condition, as we see side by side just up ahead. That looks like Evangelika Digas and Kumbi getting through then, as Jerry De Vries goes very long on the brake pedal, and now surely that's Rietberg that's going to get past him.
Yeah, that set him up for this long back straight, because they're losing a lot of momentum if you don't take it right, as they're going 3 wide up there. Let's see.
Ooh, double move by Luca.
Oh, no!
As they hit each other. Oh, that's really unfortunate. And Filin
double.
gets tagged around. Oh dear. So that was Kumbi, Filin, and was that Rietberg that all came together there?
Oh, I jinxed it again. It's my fault. Rotjarv is taking me fast. Lap 4 now, so he's very fast right now. Very nice to see that he's able to keep up. But yeah, calling out and then it's
Harvick
happening.
under attack from Van der Veed. So Caroline Harvick, with that coming together, has been able to re-inherit 15th position and reverse group pole. But now she's once more got Luca Filin and Van der Veed all over the back of her, so she'll have to drive the widest academy car she's ever done. And she's a good defense driver. We saw it at Suzuka last year, where she held on to 5th in the reverse grid race, almost until the very final lap, until Christine Vazda barged her out of the way of the hairpin. But we won't remind Christine of that, as wide goes Van der Veed. And this is going to allow Filin to go around the outside at turn 7. And is Van der Vaart going to just extend the corner that little bit to push him wide? Yes, he is. So Luca Filin will have to slot back in through turns 8 and 9.
Difficult to stay alongside here, as I have to follow through and focus on his line. As I said, tires could be very important at the end of even these short races in these cars. Every percentage could be important as we're going through the valley of the left-right chicane here and back on to the back straight. It's lost a bit
very
of...
lucky because he got tagged right at the rear, but the car didn't get damaged. But here we go. Van der Vaart has got a great run on Caroline Harvig, is going to try and snatch 15th position, the reverse grid pole, by going up the inside then at turn 12. And Caroline Harvig's going to be stranded on the outside, tries to really extend the corner, but she misjudged that one. And now she's very much at the mercy of Luca Filin, who's trying to set her up for a move into turn 1. Oh, and just hits the back of her, on exit. Didn't expect Caroline to be hanging around so much there.
Yeah, Lucas will probably be a bit more pressed to get back into the top 15 again than he was before. But kind of was pressing, so you've got to be careful. Plan your overtaking moment as he's doing right now. Through the inside, can't he hang around the outside? It's possible, but he's taking the place already, slotting in ahead before the next turn, so he's up to P16 again.
Yeah, and Caroline already under attack from Aaron Curtis as well. So, to be honest, if you're Caroline Harvey, there's no real point fighting away with Luca Filin. If Filin's only going to get through, and it's just going to lose the draft from the pack ahead. The slipstream being quite powerful here in these academy cars at Istanbul, as Rotjarv is now closed on the back of Joshua Dexter. And this is what we thought might play out then. Joshua Dexter defending that third position. I believe he's, you may correct me on this if I'm wrong, David, but I believe his best result is like 5th or 6th or something. He's never finished on the podium in an academy race before. Qualified impressively in 3rd, and now Rotjarv and Curtis have started to up their lap times and are trying to put pressure on him.
Rotjarv before post the fastest lap. Micah has taken it back for now, but it also seemed like he didn't try to attempt an overtaking move, so not to lose more time to the top 2 ahead, even though they seem to be a bit of in their own world right now. But it's probably also because he might feel the pressure from his fellow countryman Courage right behind him, and he didn't want to lose too much momentum going through.
Oh, sorry, am I back?
By the way, Matthew Mappel, a very long-standing. He was away for a bit over the years, but he is one of those people that were back then like team owners already when GPVWC was still being raced on Grand Prix 3, I think. So it's a very long time. Nice to see him back. As Jared Van der Vaart is trying to get his 14th place, as Ed is back with us.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. So I left manually and then
rejoined. Still slight technical issues with him. Can't hear him right now. We're back to James Knox at the front of the field. Still very close to Micah, using the slipstream. And so far seems more like they still work together, so they are not being caught by Joshua Dexter in 3rd, who is trying his best not to lose more time. He's not that far away, actually. All of them probably very close in lap times, as we sadly can't see them for now.
Can you hear me, David?
So looking well at the top 5 really quick. Benton Reader has lost nearly 3 seconds by now. And here we're back to Lucas Filin trying to find a way past 2 cars. He's sideways through the first apex and he's getting them both. Oh, he's getting pushed from the back, and this is, I think, Aaron Curtis around. No, it's Maple.
It's Maple. Maple's
Maple. Too bad for him. He's having a good run so far. But Lucas Filin taking both of these positions away in the meantime.
At least I'm back there. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened there. It's completely messing up on me. As we see Caroline Harvey trying to set up. Oh, and bumping into the back of Maple, who Maple has immediately counterattacked and got back past Caroline Harvey. So Harvey is back exactly where she qualified, down in 18th position, but still holding off Buckland and a recovering Vazdar, who spun around earlier. Yeah, the main fight's really Micah versus Knox, and then Dexter versus Rotjarv and Curtis. We see Jerry De Vries dropping down. So it looks like De Vries has spun and got going again.
Also lost about 4 drivers by now. Oh, he's going slow. Oof, just about they saw him.
And that's Vazdar up the inside then of Buckland. So Buckland a little bit caught out there by the similar livery car of Jerry De Vries going slowly. And Vazdar had great racecraft and presence of mind there. And once more catching up to the back of Caroline Harvig. So getting PTSD flashbacks here. Or my reserve driver for Hunterbird Simulation. Once more under threat in the battle for 17th position then as we go into the final 5 laps of the race. Then Knox still keeping the gap stable to Micah, but Micah seems to have him covered so far in that battle up front.
So looking to see if this is more like they are like in a pad situation, not to fight too much, or if Knox cannot actually get closer, but the guys behind them will try to get closer, but they are in their own, I don't know, pad situation. I'm not unsure right now. I'm gonna say like they might try not to fight too much until like the last laps.
Yeah, and you have to say, look at how wiggly Joshua Dexter gets there. But it has to be said, Dexter doing really well to keep James Knox and Matthias Michael within 2 seconds. This is definitely a much better performance than we've seen from Joshua Dexter in previous Academy rounds. So despite defending, he's actually setting competitive lap times here. And Rotjarv not able to find an opening, not able to break him and force him into a mistake here.
I think it's not a bad thing that, I mean, overall now FS2 and Academy don't have DRS. So it's even more of a driving series. So you need to make the overtake stick. And what we see is just about momentum and slipstream and everything together alone and not kind of, gimmicks. So he's right now through his own racecraft keeping ahead. But there might be an opportunity now as Rotjarv is very close and Kuritz is looking on to maybe profit of it. As he's looking for it, but he's going back to the outside. Oh, he's touching his front right wheel, just about holding on. They're just keeping their places for now.
Yeah, you saw Rotjarv was trying to judge it to the outside, then slightly misjudged it and got hit by Joshua Dexter effectively. And that's the danger when you try and just weave around on the outside and hope for the best, that you don't want to sort of commit to a kind of half move that's not going to work out. You've really got to make sure you've got the advantage when you try something like that. And James Knox is definitely going to get much closer then to the back of Micah then as we approach the final stages of this race. Reminder, back in 15th, it's still Aaron Curtis holding on to the reverse group pole in 15th. There he is, and he's about to actually hand it over to Reitberg if he's not careful here and makes a move on him. So we could see some interesting tactics here. Maple isn't too far behind either and is desperate to get back into the top 15 here.
Seeing, but the gap is a bit too big for now to Curtis, and I know Curtis from previous racing, so he's a quick guy and it will be difficult to get close to him, but he is making his own move on Riedberg soon, I guess. Back to the top 4, or top 5 actually, sorry, as Rotjarv is very close again to Joshua Dexter here. Ooh, he had a better line, a better run. This could be the chance. Either inside or outside, we'll see which side he will go to.
Yeah, look at this. Rotjarv then pulls to the outside much earlier this time. And behind, Curtis has got to decide who he's going to try and shadow here. It's going to try and shadow Rotjarv. Rotjarv is going to try to go around the outside at turn 12 into 13. He's going to have a little bit of look at the inside and he spins Joshua Dexter around. And exactly what Curtis wanted. He's able to pass both of them and get up to third. But Joshua Dexter punted round through no fault of his own after a beautiful defensive drive. He's going to be annoyed with that.
I gotta say, I kind of saw it coming. I felt like there was the front axle was on the inside and they came across, and I kind of saw that coming. It just seemed like it would come. So unlucky for Joshua. Was driving really well so far.
Didn't work out too particularly well for Rotjarv either, because he ended up exactly where he was before he tried that a little bit optimistic move. There might have been space, but the gap was always going to close there. That 13 is not really an ideal overtaking spot as we cut to Mark McNaughton. Oh, and who sees Bus? Is that somebody going very slowly, a lap down on them? Is he Dan Fan retiring then? It might be Scarpelli, who's somehow still in the race, 8 laps down then.
Well, I mean, you can always come back if you want to. That's nice to see him back.
Get some experience under his belt ahead of race 2, of course. We see Tong Evangelika Dikas has also retired as well, as we look at Reitberg now, who's been overtaken by Aaron Curtis. So that means Reitberg holding on to the final reverse grid pole slot. 2 laps to go, and ahead of Maple then. Am I pronouncing it right? Maple is in Maple Leaf. Oh, as Joshua Dexter and Curtis look like they're fighting each other. As Rotyar has retaken 3rd place. So this battle's just going to continue on then. That's a bit wide from Joshua Dexter then through turn 12.
It seemed like he was the fastest of the 3, just couldn't find a way past Joshua Dexter, and well, now he's still struggling to get away though, but he's finally got that 3rd place he was looking for. And I think last time he tried the outside move, it looked like he could hang on. That's why he tried to move, and then sadly the contact, but that happens.
Yeah, at least Joshua Dexter will get the benefit of the double slipstream there, but now Rotyar is in 3rd. He's going to try and pull away from Curtis here. Joshua Dexter might be able to recover a 4th place out of this if he plays his cards right, but he'll know that 3rd was definitely on the cards there. Meanwhile, Knox half a second then behind Mateusz Majka as we cut to Giannis Pano, who is trying to give Stephen Combie a bit of trouble in the battle for the final position in the top 10. Bersoni now slips his way past Benton Rider for 6th position. So good drive from Bersoni then, who was definitely in the middle of things at the start of the race and has recovered well. Although he's a long way off Joshua Dexter though, so it's difficult to see him making too much more ground before the end as we are fast approaching the final lap here. Maple just 6/10 then behind Rietberg. Curtis all over the back of Rotyar. He desperately wants that P3 back, doesn't he, David?
Yeah, well, it seems to be a bit too far away to try at the end of this straight, so I'll expect maybe he's gonna use it to get closer, and then he might try the same on the last lap. Although no, I don't think this is gonna work. But he's gonna try to show himself. I'm here. It's not quite working though. So Rotyar is still focusing more ahead than back.
Yeah, certainly.
Benton Rider has he lost a lot of time, down to 7th now, as Mr. Buckland is having a penalty.
That's a shame for Buckland, down in 21st then, so clearly a couple of corner cuts have come back to haunt him. Meanwhile, 3 attempts separate the leaders. James Knox on the final lap is doing a last-ditch attempt then to try and get past Mateusz Majka, and he's got a 2.8 second gap to Rotyar, so if something goes wrong, he has that a little bit of buffer, but nonetheless, he's really only worth going for a move if he thinks he can pull it off here. And Majka looking a little bit cagey under pressure, but he doesn't need to go faster than he absolutely needs to here to win this one.
Seems like it. He's seemed so far in control, never let Knox get too close to actually try a serious move anywhere, but could not get away from him, which also speaks for James Knox's pace right now. And we'll see if he can maybe set a final attack anywhere, but it seems he's a bit too far away now.
Yeah, sector 2 and 3 are really the places where Majka seems to be a bit stronger, doesn't he? And has the legs on James Knox. Or it's the first sector where Knox keeps closing, and a little bit with this slipstream as well. So James Knox, it's going to have to be from a long way back then if he wants to make it. Majka is going to defend the inside though, all the way into turn 12. James Knox tries to go all the way around the outside here. Only a couple of corners to go. He drifts out the rear, and Majka is just going to hold on then as Rotyar and Curtis are battling away for 3rd, and it's Rotyar that holds it, but it is Mateusz Majka who's going to triumph in race 1 here at Istanbul Park after a superb defense performance. Oh, as Rotyar hits the side of Curtis as they cross the line almost together there. Oh, and he bumps him off. Oh, that felt a little bit mean-spirited there. Joshua Dexter wishing that would have happened just a few corners earlier, as we see Van der Weide trying to snatch. Luca Farland has made it up to 11th then, despite being hit in the rear. Van der Weide desperate to relieve him of 11th, but not quite close enough to do so. So he'll have to be content then with P12. As look behind, it's Maple that is coming through to cross the line in reverse grid pole from Pano as Bologna. Can Massimo Bologna snatch E19 from Jerry De Vries? It's going to be a long shot. Oh, he's not quite got the momentum over the line. So Bologna misses out to De Vries with Harvig just pipping both of them to P18. Oh, and Jerry De Vries destroys the engine as he crosses the line then in a monumental inferno. Is Louis Smith. He's not going to make it to the line. Looks like he has run into an issue or possibly run out of fuel.
Oh, wow, some fireworks there. But from as the car is in full-blown...
Stone just stopping to take pictures, I think. But a good performance from Stone just to get to the end with her wrist being in the shape that it is leading into this race. And she seems pretty happy with that.
As he was driving around the bonfire Dinis there. As a driver, just suggest not to do what you've seen before, even if you're a bit disappointed. Just saying.
So, confirmation then of our results from round 1, race 1 here at Istanbul, but it's technically round 2 of the championship, I should say. Matthias Maiker takes victory from James Knox after Knox put a last gasp attempt on the final lap to go around the outside, but there just wasn't enough grip at turn 12 on the outside to pull that one off. Curtis somehow holds on to third from Rotjar, but there will be recriminations between those two. They didn't look happy with each other whatsoever. Joshua Dexter, he'll also be annoyed being punted around by Rotjar. He will end race 1 in 5th position. Mattia Bassoni ends the day in 6th, getting the better of Daniel Bentonrider, who finishes 7th. Mark McNaughton finishes in the top 8 for, I believe, only the 2nd time in his academy career. So, British driver, he'll be pleased with that after a good performance. Max Hyman finishes P9, and Steve Comby holds on to a position in the top 10. And in P11, it is Luca Filan who goes from the back of the grid to being hit, to losing a few positions, to going back up to P11, then just getting the better of Jared Van der Weide. He takes P12. Aaron Curtis is going to finish in P13, ahead of Janice Pano. Matthew Maple will inherit reverse grid pole then, so it'll be interesting to see what him and Pano can do from the front row in race 2. Martin Reitberg is 16th, ahead of Christian Vasda. Caroline Harvick gets her best finish of the season so far in Academy in P18. Jerry De Vries is P19, ahead of Massimo Bologna in P20. P21 is Alice Stone with the broken wrist. Then it's Henry Buckland in P22, and he is the last finisher on the lead lap, with Louis Smith and Alex Tong retiring before the end. Domenico Scarpelli being disconnected, but continuing 4 laps down. But Nikos Evangelikadakis and Dan Fan also failing to meet the checkered flag in time then with their DNFs. So then, that is race 1 completed then. We're going to go on a short break before race 2. But don't go anywhere. Remember, Matthew Maple will start from pole position, and Matthias Maiker start from P15 and hope to make it back-to-back race 2 victories then. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in Istanbul Park in a few short minutes' time. See you soon. Hello and welcome back to Istanbul Park ahead of race 2 of round 2 of the 2024 Academy Series here in GPVWC. My name is Edward Hunter. Alongside me is David Jundt with Remco de Zeeuw in the broadcast direction, controlling the cameras and doing a great job as well. So David, with race 2, race 1 won by Mateusz Majka, but now Matthew Maple on pole for race 2 as the grid is about to be led away.
I'm looking really interesting how Matthew will be able to, convert his reverse pole here, having been out for quite some time, but back now as we're heading into the formation lap.
Yep, a lot of experience, Matthew Maple, but like you say, big gap and not competed full time in GPVWC since 2006, we believe. So, and certainly still got some decent pace as we saw in that first race, although a little bit incident filled. We'll be hoping for a cleaner run here. Certainly going to have a clean run into turn 1 if he gets away well, but there is a little threat alongside him that could prove to be a sting in the tail. So let's go through the grid order then. It is Matthew Maple on pole position from Janis Pano alongside him, row 2, led by Aaron Curtis Bit of Jared van der Weide. Row 3 is led by Luca Feilin and Steve Combie, so Feilin will be a definite threat here. Max Hyman leads row 4 from Mark McNaughton, who has actually won an Academy before, so I apologise for what I said earlier. Daniel Bentonrider is in ahead of row 5 with Matteo Bassoni alongside him. Row 6, Joshua Dexter and Kurt Rotjarv. Row 7, Casper Curtis and second place man in race 1, James Knox. And there's Matthias Maiker, winner in race 1, 15th on the grid here ahead of Martin Reitberg. 17th will be Christian Vasdar ahead of Caroline Harvig. Then it is Jerry De Vries in 19th ahead of Massimo Belloni in 20th. Alice Stone with the sprained wrist starts in 21st position ahead of Louis Smith. Alex Tong will start 23rd ahead of Domenico Scarpelli. He'll be hoping not to get disconnected this time around. And then bringing up the rear in 25th position is Dan Fan. So it looks like we lost 2 drivers from race 1 then.
I think I've not seen Nikos Evangelidakis back on the grid. I'm not sure about the other driver right now, as there's a bit of dark and clear sky right now. So I guess it's a bit overcast in Turkey at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think there's any sign on the weather radar. It should rain though, so should stay dry for the remainder. But Luca Feilin is definitely going to be the danger man. If he can get a clean start here and get into the top 3, then he could really be a threat for the race win here. So Mark Maple is going to have to really manage this well if he wants to get another podium finish then to his GPV resume.
I'm personally gonna, look how Aaron Curtis will do. I know that he has some pace, maybe more in bit of free air, but he feels like kind of a possible dark horse, so I will probably have an eye on him.
Exactly, as we see last car just weaving into its box right now.
Someone from the pits as well.
Oh, that's true. Not sure who that is. Anyway, now he will have to wait for the whole field to go through, of course, as we wait for the lights to illuminate. There's Matthew Maple on the left, on the right then. 3 lights, 4, and then a 5th. And race 2 is underway at Istanbul, and Matthew Maple, a slow getaway actually, and is that Feilin getting up the inside then into P2 as Maple falls down to 6th position. So he just completely bogged down off the line then, and now finds himself actually in P7. So it's Curtis leading Feilin then as they go uphill into turn 3.
He had the good getaway that I was thinking he might have, and it looks like Feilin just having him as a rival for now. As there's a slight contact, as we've got some technical gaps are not quite showing right now, but yeah. So
Micah has dropped down to P19 then, just ahead of Domenico Scarpelli, but there's James Knox already up to P11 then, and challenging Curtis for a top 10 position, but Rodyav is all over the back of him and trying to go around the outside of James Knox into turn 8, and actually sensibly backs out of that one. But Aaron Curtis, I wonder how long he's going to be able to keep Luca Feilin at bay, because I think a lot of people are expecting once Feilin gets clear air, he's going to clear off essentially. As we see up ahead, who's that making a move? Is that Benton Rider trying to attack Maple for... no, it's Maple being overtaken by Bassoni, sorry. As we see a huge pack of drivers just squabbling for that 9th position then. And Curtis is going to try and go around the outside then, and he's going to try and drag James Knox with him.
Light of a cork in the bottle there. Oh, wow! Oh, my goodness!
Crash.
Woo! Who lost his front wing there? That's Deck. Oh, it's Joshua. Oh no! Oh, big
Dexter
crash.
Got on the grass and then just went straight into the wall there. That was a big moment for him, and that's potentially blown a hole any chance of getting a podium out of this one. So big shame for Joshua Dexter there. But here's Steve Combie then, putting pressure on Janis Pano for what is now the final slot on the podium, as there's already a 2-second gap to Feilin. So Curtis and Feilin have got this lead fight all to themselves at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like Curtis can withstand Lucas for now. Let's see how this goes over the next 2 laps, but I'm impressed by Coombe as well with...
Curtis is gone! You put the curse on him, Davy.
Oh,
Curtis
not again.
spins completely off, and is going to lose a load of positions here as he desperately tries to get back on track without hitting anyone. That's sensible there, but big shame for Aaron. Curtis was doing everything right, just a little bit too much throttle, and the loud pedal betrayed him there. As we see Curtis going a bit wide into turn 7, and this is going to excite Rotjarv, who senses a chance of getting into P7 here. He needs to clear Curtis for P8 first, of course, as Rotjarv gets a little bit sideways into turn 8, but collects it up quickly. So the order at the front now, with lap 2 about to end, is Filin leading Pano, Combi, Hyman, Benton Ryder, Bassoni, Knox, Curtis, Rotjarv, and Maple, just holding on to the top 10 ahead of Christine Vasda. Mike has already got back up to P12 then. As Rotjarv, here we go. He's going to be on the outside, though, into turn 12, so he needs to make sure he clears Curtis quickly. Curtis has actually recovered on the run down the straight there, but look up ahead. Bassoni and Benton Ryder side by side as Max Hyman gets up into P3.
Seemed like on the straight, Kurit has a more straight line speed setup, while Rotjarv seems like he has the upper hand in the turns, as Knox is trying to grab P6 from Bassoni here. Let's see if he can take the inside line or if Bassoni will hang around the outside. I go side by side.
Still there. He's going to be shuffled out here. Knox is going to have the inside then as they go uphill towards turn 3. So James Knox, if he can clear this pack quickly, he could be a threat to Luca Filin. You never know. But that 2-second gap between Filin and Pano is going to only balloon as this race goes on, I fear.
Front like Thailand has a 2.3 second gap to Pano. Heyman has now gone up to 3rd. I've actually missed that Combi lost 3rd to him. Quietly, sneaky.
Yeah, I think he must have made the move into turn 12 then. But Hyman now 6/10 behind Pano then. So Hyman has really got the bit between his teeth at the moment and is chasing down Janice Pano. Quite convincingly, as we see Rotjarv continuing to squabble away with Curtis while James Knox just makes hay and picks them off one by one in front of them. Look, Knox is already setting up Benton Ryder for 5th.
Yeah, this could be with Micah not quite in front of him. This could be a good race for him again.
You see Micah in the background. He's the yellow car in 10th position.
Oh, no.
And Knox gets knocked out of the way there by Benton Ryder uphill as they approach turn 12, and this could create an opportunity for Bassoni. Bassoni has to back out. Oh, Knox tags Benton Ryder around, and that's going to allow Bassoni and Curtis through into 5th and 6th then. So absolute bedlam and pandemonium then at turn 12. Benton Ryder the big loser there. Oh, and Pano, he spun it at the final corner from 2nd position. So now Max Hyman is in P2, 4 seconds behind Luca Filin.
As Micah is doing just the fastest lap and is just getting through this mess right now. He's already back to P8. That's some tire banging there.
Benton Ryder eager to gain a position already, and De Vries getting plonked out of the way at turn 1 there as Caroline Harvig then is trying to get involved in the battle as well. Casper Curtis then now up to P5. He's Rotjarv defending from Knox, who's trying to fight back to get back into P6 then. So Knox is going to try around the outside, but now Mateusz Micah is going to take advantage and squeeze through the middle. Oh, there's no space there though. Knox now around the outside at turn 7. He's got Micah still alongside him as they approach turn 8. This is going to be tasty, isn't it, David?
Oh, the inside. Oh, side by side. Incredible. They just leave each other space there. Still about, and he's looking for it. He's looking for it. No, he's being careful. He's not trying it. He's actually very clever. He's very clever. Micah's just dropping back and trying to get a double slipstream here.
Yes, exactly. Mateusz Micah playing the long game, but that mistake for Knox has brought Micah back into play here. And here we go. Hits the back of that's Rotjarv. He's just slammed into the backup, but somehow the front wing staying in one piece though. But James Knox will breathe a sigh of relief because this gives him some breathing space. Micah's got the inside then into turn 12 and is able to cut off. So it's battle resumed between Micah and Knox. It's a reverse of race 1, of course, as we see Dan Fan getting into trouble, dropping down to 15th position. Benton Ryder being overtaken by Rietberg as well. But the lead up front, finally leading Hyman by 4.7 seconds. Kumbi still holding on to 3rd from Bassoni and Curtis then. And then it's Knox, Micah, Rotjarv, Maple and Vasda, your top 10.
Difficult to kind of... The gloves are off, fighting's on, and I don't know
Typical
where to
race
look
two
really.
shenanigans, isn't it? Here comes Benton Ryder in the inside uphill, and is Scarpelli going to be able to...
Oh no.
Oh, Benton Ryder just lost it and tagged Scarpelli around, but luckily Domenico Scarpelli does not lose any positions to just a whole heap of time. The same cannot be said for Daniel Benton Ryder, who extricates himself from a very awkward position there.
I know Benton Reader can be very fast. He's a bit, solid driver.
A little exuberant in that moment there,
Yes.
unfortunately. Here's Tong, who didn't qualify particularly well, fighting his way through the field into P15. Van der Weide up ahead, as always. That Bassoni's got by Kumbi for third position.
Oh, very quietly.
Ooh.
We keep missing the fight for third. We keep missing it.
That's Van der Weide fighting Dan Fan. I don't know how to pronounce Fan's last name, but I'm just going to go with that because it doesn't look like any language
There
I've
should
seen
be
before.
a Y. There should be a Y, I think, in his name. That is
And
something
fine.
wrong in his name. Oh.
Well, anyway, look at them going 3 wide, almost 4 wide in places. Oh,
Oh, there's someone going off big time. Oh,
or was that Pano in trouble?
I couldn't tell. Somebody just really big one. I think he lost both wings. It's back to P8. I think.
Yeah,
Was it Ben
Rothschild
Reader?
then
I don't think it was.
trying to follow.
Oh, he's out
Micah,
at least.
so James
Right.
Knox has cleared Kumbi and Curtis. This has been a bad lap for Kumbi. Look, he's being shuffled out. Micah going side by side with Kumbi as they go uphill. And which of the yellow cars has got ahead? It's Micah then, and through comes Curtis as well, up into turn 4 and 5. And is Rotyarv going to go around the outside then into 6? Yes, he is. So poor Steve Kumbi just being bullied out of the way, although he has just held on for another corner longer. But Rotyarv is going to have the inside into turn 7 then. Oh, but Steve Kumbi is going to fight back and try and hold on to P7 then. So this is disastrous for Rotyarv because he's going to lose touch. Here's McNaughton in trouble, falls down to P20 as Jerry De Vries is out of the race.
Guessing that the fight with Bassoni caused Kumbi to drop into the clutches of our very fast 3, so then he got swamped all at once. Bad luck for him. Bad luck as well as for our retired drivers by now. I've got Mark McNaughton here taking P19, I think.
Yep, so just clearing Dan Fine. And back up front though, Rotyarv and Kumbi continuing to dispute 7th position then. So can Kurt Rotyarv dive on at the inside into turn 12? Kumbi breaks fairly early. He's going to try and undercut. No chance. Rotyarv has that covered. And so now Thielen leading Hyman by 5 seconds with Bassoni 7/10 behind Hyman. But Knox and Micah are slowly eking their way towards that podium fight. But we've only got 5 laps left in the race then, as Bassoni then is desperate to get into P2 before James Knox catches him. But it may not be in his hands anymore.
Will be difficult now that Hyman is a bit of the cock in the bottle, as Bassoni has caught up to him, and everyone going a bit wide. But
You can see Hyman just really struggling to hold on here and trying to get as defensive as he can without losing too much time. But Thielen he's really just been able to stretch his legs up front. You can just see that dot disappearing in the distance. That's Luca Thielen. But James Knox now knows Micah is right behind him, knows he can't slip up this time fighting with Bassoni, because if he does, then he's going to lose plenty of time and positions. As we see yellow in the first sector. Oh, that's Pano and Bologna being overtaken. I think Pano must have gone around there. James Knox then setting Bassoni up, going very wide out of turn 8, and Micah following suit essentially. So this is going to be a move into turn 12, I think, that James Knox has got in mind. Bassoni now getting more defensive than he is trying to attack Hyman, and that's a sigh of relief for Hyman. He gets a brief reprieve then from Bassoni, but James Knox then has got a great run then as they approach turn 12.
that's a supreme handling car I saw in the few hand turns, but he's blocked. He cannot get past them all as they're going side by side there.
And Hyman's sort of
Oh,
gets
no!
pushed to the inside and spins him around, and Knox
Oh,
avoids,
boy.
but Micah is spun around. That was absolutely chaotic there. And Micah just, he went left, Knox went right, and unfortunately Micah just got tagged in the rear there, so there was nothing that could be done. 5 laps to go then, and Knox is up to P2, but 7 seconds separate himself and Luca Thielen.
Unlucky. Oh, and he's already back on the move against Matthew Maple. A slight touch.
That didn't work out for Maple. He just lost a load of time there, bumping into the side of Mateusz Majka. Now Christian Vazdar is going to take advantage as well. Vazdar in the purple car up the inside of Matthew Maple. Oh, Maple who just slid right into the back of Vazdar, and Vazdar a little bit out of control, but gets it under the brake pedal once more as Maple does a 360 there.
This turn is a difficult one. You can run so wide, and another one that took the outside inside line is just getting caught out, and that's effectively what happened. Crossing lines
Max
at the end.
Hyman, because of that, is somehow holding on to the final slot on the podium here, but he's got Rotjarv and Curtis, the two Ks, inseparable in this race, although Curtis nearly drops it at turn 8 there. And don't forget, Kumbi still in this, Bassoni and Majka, who will still have excellent pace in these final few laps. So the top 5 is really yet to be settled here. It could go any way who wins this fight for P3.
I will guess we could soon see an Estonian take the final podium spot. So Rotjarv is trying to go to the right side of Heyman here. It's not working out. He's actually a bit slow in a straight line.
Oh, Curtis is up the inside of both of them. Oh, that's brave move from Curtis. So he's cleared Rotjarv out, but he wasn't quite able to get past Max Hyman. So Hyman, the cork in the bottle, slowing both of them up and allowing them to swap positions.
So it seems like Curtis has the one with the most straight line speed, and he's proving it again. He's going to the inside of Heyman here.
In the middle. Oh, and Curtis somehow saves a huge sideways moment at turn 1. He had to brake offline there, and now Rotjarv is going to be licking his lips because there's a chance to get back through here as we see uphill Rotjarv backing out actually, and Kumbi starting to close as these three battle each other. Oh, and trying going either side of Max Hyman, but Rotjarv has got the inside as they go downhill into 5 and 6.
Looks like he's in the prime, his prime sectors with his setup, it seems, but Curtis is still keeping him honest there, as we have Kumbi coming back, trying to get into the fight, as well as Bassoni
and Majka, as you say. So we got 6 cars fighting over P3 as Knox has taken a second out of Luca Filin on the previous lap. Oh, but that's wide for Curtis, so Rotjarv will retake P4 then, as the tyres are struggling to hold on through turn 8 at this late phase of the race then. So Hyman, if he can just hang in there, maybe he can get P3 or P4, but he goes off track, and that's going to destroy his exit uphill then as they approach 11 and 12.
And Curtis has, once again, he has the best slipstream. He's just flying to the right side.
Oh, but
now
he's
starting
to
let out, yeah.
This is going to be tricky then. He clears Rotjarv. Oh, and Hyman outbrakes himself. Rotjarv up the inside then. And that is Rotjarv into P3 then. And Curtis is stranded and stuck at the head of this train of cars, stuck behind Max Heyman.
Oh, incredible so far. Majka still only 8th behind them, trying to find a way past again. Oh,
opportunistic almost between Hyman and Curtis and Kumbi having to back out then. As look at Curtis just weaving this way and that behind Hyman. He's desperate to keep Rotjarv in sight, and who can blame him?
Yeah, no, he's just still tried to, like with his setup in the straight line past, and oh no, it's spin, and this Bassoni is off. No.
Oh,
careful on the re-entry.
And that's Vazdar up to P8 then, so Bassoni loses a chance of a podium and now has to defend from Rutberg as Curtis is going up the inside then at turn 7. Oh, past Max Hyman. He set that up well, but can he complete the move into turn 8? Max Hyman is going to try and force him to go the long way around, and Curtis does it.
That was strong, very close, but he's not done yet. Is Hyman gonna look for it? Kurit's defense, he's gonna set him a bit up for the chicane here. So there could be a counter-attack because he's got a worse exit of it. Will his straight line speed protect him? Doesn't look like it. Here he comes.
Yeah, Matthew Maple dropping down the order to 12th then from 10th. But here comes Curtis up the inside to try and defend from Hyman. Hyman is going to try around the outside, trying to squeeze him at the apex. Oh, just enough room given, but look, that's Kumbi and Micah closing on the pair of them. Hyman has a think about a dive into the final corner as Dan Fain gets a penalty, and Curtis through then definitively into P4, and now it's Kumbi's turn once more to challenge Max Hyman, and he's got to get through quickly before Micah can sweep past both of them.
Difficult, like Hyman's tires, but it seems like the setup for Kuritz is also having a bit of a struggle there at the exit of the turn, so maybe oh no,
Maple round again. I think he's maybe just cooking the rear tires at this phase, and that drops him behind Alex Tong, and basically at the mercy of Caroline Harvig then in this final 2 laps as we cut to Aaron Curtis. What could he have done today if he'd not spun out? He's still running a creditable P12 though, and challenging Scarpelli for 11th then, so Curtis could potentially squeeze his way into the top 10 here depending on how things play out. Even though looking at where Luca Filin was, this could have maybe been a P2 for Aaron Curtis had things played out differently.
It seemed like he had a pace for it, or at least he fought very nicely back to 12th, as you said. Back to Micah here in 7th, back behind Kumbi. Can he get him?
Micah nursing a wounded car here because he's not looking quite as stable as he did earlier in the race.
That could possibly be the slight, the kick that he received when he got spun around while he was nearly in 2nd. It could be that he has a bit of damage.
But he wants revenge, doesn't he? Up the inside of Kumbi he comes. Micah, the pole, in to P6 then. So that move had been coming for a while, and Kumbi doesn't really defend too hard against it as they approach the final lap of the race then. So Knox still 5 seconds behind Luca Filin, with Rotyarv in 3rd, Curtis in 4th, Hyman 5th, and now very much at the mercy of Matej Micah as we see, Rietberg and Scarpelli in trouble.
I think something happened alongside with like an overtake by maybe Curtis and Van der Weide. So I'm unsure who exactly
this puts Curtis into P10,
something
of course.
happen. Yep.
Now it's Scarpelli in 13th then.
Oh, there's a front wheel missing.
Oh,
Tong is missing. Oh, he's missing a tire. Wow.
So that's happened much earlier on, and he's trying to continue. What on earth is Alex Tong playing at? As Caroline Harvey comes through and sort of looks quizzically at Alex Tong's reliant Robin of a car there. I'm pretty sure when you lose a front wheel, that's sort of the moment where you retire usually. And look at how little, not even front downforce, there's no front grip because half of the car's missing.
Yeah, I wonder where he lost that entry.
We'll never
to the
know
last
because there's no replays here. So I'm sure
True.
Alex Tong will tell us what happened afterwards. But Micah, though, yet to give up on that P5 on Hyman as Scarpelli up the inside of Rietberg into turn 8. Rietberg goes very wide, and that was brave from Scarpelli. He forced the issue there and got P12 as a result, as Alex Tong continues to drop down the order. But here comes Micah then. Last chance to get by Max Hyman as Luca Filin approaches the finish line. Here comes Micah. Is he going to try the outside? Nothing Max Hyman can do unless he breaks later than late. That's what he's going to try and do. Here they come, and he's actually able to hold off Micah, who almost loses it on the curb there. But Filin then wins here in Istanbul with James Knox in 2nd. Rotyarv will finish 3rd. Curtis 4th. Hyman holds on to 5th from Micah. So Hyman was defensive the whole way through, and his reward is P5. But Micah, I think, will feel a little bit aggrieved about being spun around. Kumbi holds on to 7th from Bassoni, Vazdar, and Curtis. Then your top 10.
Poof. That was an end. Gotta say, I just remember that Knox was like a double P2, so that was very consistent. Oh no. What's going on?
He's fighting with. He's spun in front of Maloney.
No.
He's got no front wing. He certainly doesn't now that he's barged into him. So Joshua Dexter tried to move around the outside, got pushed off track, and then spun into the path of Baloney. And Tom finishes 18th, doing the final lap with no front wing and no front left tyre, or suspension for that matter.
He would certainly win the Reliant Robin Formula Series. But yeah, you shouldn't do it.
For Alex Tong. But Luca Filin, it's another victory, and didn't he get on the podium here at Istanbul last year? I'm pretty sure he won race 2 as well. So he seems to like this track, and he likes being here in Academy then. So let's Proof to go through the final results then. Luca Filin, victorious here in race 2. James Knox makes it 2 P2s in a row, recovering up to second. Kurt Rotjarv takes P3 ahead of Casper Curtis. Max Hyman is 5th. Mateusz Majka, who would hope to be recovered into the top 3, can only manage P6 then after several difficulties in this race. Steve Kumbi, he at least holds on to 7th from Mattia Bassoni. Vazdar recovers up to 9th. Aaron Curtis, who started on the front row and then spun, he's able to recover into the top 10, so a decent race nonetheless. Good recovery from Aaron Curtis. Jad van der Weide is 11th ahead of Domenico Scarpelli. Martin Reitberg, 13th ahead of Matthew Maple, our pole setter. Caroline Harvig recovers up to 15th, so that's a pretty good day's work for Caroline. Janice Pano is 16th ahead of Mark McNaughton. Alex Tong, despite missing half the car, is P18 ahead of Massimo Belloni. Joshua Dexter with that late spin is only able to finish in P20, sadly, so a miserable day for Joshua Dexter, despite that promising qualifying. Dan Fine is P21, and our last finisher ahead of Louis Smith, Jerry DeVries, Daniel Benton Ryder, and Alice Stone, none of whom made the checkered flag.
This is apparently Lucas Filin's first Academy win after his first FS2 win.
Of course, yes.
As he's still emergency. So it's fine, yeah. Just saying.
I think looking to drive for KKR in FS1 this season, isn't he? So that could be a very, very exciting combo indeed on the basis of that. But shall we have a few interviews then? Because a couple of them are waiting. It's Curtis and Kuritz, I should say. I've been calling him the wrong name the whole race. And Rotjarv are both there. Shall we talk to Rotjarv first then, since he was first?
Yeah.
So, joining us now from Estonia is the man who has just finished P3 in the race 2 there, and that's Kurt Rotjarv. Kurt, thanks for joining us. How was those 2 races in Istanbul for you?
I would say they were very easy. For sure, I had to fight with the car the 2 races, so I wouldn't say that Bahrain was any easier, but I would say they were both same hard for me.
So a lot of that race was spent with you, Kuritz, and Joshua Dexter a little bit in the first race, fighting one another, and it felt a little bit like there was a little bit of contact between you, Kuritz, and Joshua Dexter, and there was also at the end of race 1, you and Kuritz bumped into each other, I think, as you crossed the line, which felt as you got so close together. Could you talk us through some of those incidents?
Dexter's incident with me, I can't really comment because I need to look. I felt like he was turning into me, so that was a bit unfortunate what happened there. But with Koritz, yeah, I got a bit in a beef with him. That I felt in the penultimate corner that I got a little touch in the rear diffuser, so I got a bit angry at that, and I wanted to express my feelings.
Okay, well, it's good you didn't do that in one of the bigger championships, because you probably would have gotten more trouble if you had. But anyway, nonetheless, talk us through a little bit of race 2 then, because it was sort of round 2 between you and Kuritz, and there's that train of cars trying to overtake Max Hyman near the end. There's the usual first couple of laps chaos, and then you settled in, didn't you? And
aggressive driver. Didn't want to really leave space, and I was really struggling with Koritz to get through him. So yeah, it was a pretty big push to get in front of him. And also, yeah, Koritz, I got just info that he was driving with 0 wings, so it was really difficult to pass him also. So I wouldn't say. Yeah, I got beside him and he was pulling away. I was in the same feelings as you.
Well, anyway, thanks for putting on a great show for us today, Kurt. And I'm sure we'll see you in action at the next Academy round in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, I hope to get on the podium again.
Oh, well, best of luck. David, did you have any questions before we let Kurt go? Or
no, that was a pretty good summary. Like I already heard about like the wing settings. I was guessing that.
Right, shall we move on then as we allow Kurt to leave and drag in Kasper Kuritz and hear what he has to say about the race? So we're joined now by Kasper Kuritz, who was third in the first race and fourth in race 2, if I remember correctly. So Kasper, congratulations on the podium. That looked pretty hectic out there in both races for you. You and the man we just talked to having a great battle.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was really challenging because I didn't practice that much, and the setup was really unstable. But I really glad with the result, and yeah.
So you were relying on making a lot of the moves down that back straight, sort of leading into turn 12, weren't you? Because we just heard from Kurt that he was making the move and then seeing you just breeze up along on the inside, and that happened quite a few times in both races, effectively. So that must have put a lot of pressure on you, especially in the more technical, those last couple of corners and the sort of sector where it's a little bit more about downforce. You were struggling for grip in places.
Oh yeah, definitely. The straight was my friend, and a lot of moves were done there. But if the sector 2 bits and those were just hectic, and I was basically drifting for the corners and dragging down the straights, trying to do something. And at the end, I was still slower than the guys that had a lot more downforce. So maybe it wasn't the right call, but I had fun anyway with it, and it was funny.
Yes, it certainly was. Race 2, very, very chaotic, and you and Kurt were in a battle with Max Hyman for quite a lot of it, and Hyman defending very, very aggressively, and you were sort of the second one of the two of you to make it through. So what was your thoughts on Hyman's driving today and that pass you made on him?
I mean, definitely the defending was a bit tad aggressive. I mean, as long as there isn't cars upside down, okay, fair enough. But maybe should have chilled out a bit more. And basically whoever was going to the podium would have had to pass Hyman first, and that was Kurt today. So
Yeah, absolutely. So congrats on the podium in race 1. I'm sure it won't be the last one we see from you this season, Kasper. So we look forward to more battles between you and Kurt, I guess, in round 3 in a few weeks' time.
yeah, thank you.
All right. So, David, as we let Kasper leave the commentary box, shall we drag James Knox in, our P2 man in both races?
Oh yeah.
So, we're now joined by James Knox, the man who finished P2 after a last-ditch attempt to pass Mateusz Maica at race 1, and then finished P2 almost unexpectedly, despite a very, very incident-packed race 2, James. So, obviously so close to victory in race 1, but with 2 very, very consistent performances, you got to feel pleased with that, because your recovery in race 2 was very impressive to watch as well.
Yeah, no, the second race was a lot harder. I think it was just the whole sort of trying to push through everyone was just so difficult. Everyone was argy-bargy. It was really aggressive, but got involved in a few incidents, but luckily came out unscathed. So, yeah, really, really happy.
And talk us through race 1 a little bit, because obviously on the front row with Micah, you two sort of pulled away from Dexter, and then you sort of had that battle all to yourself where you were keeping a few tenths behind him, trying to put him under pressure, but you didn't go for it until the very, very final lap, and you made that move on the outside. There just wasn't enough grip. Do you think that was the right call? Do you think maybe you could have pushed a bit earlier, or was that really the best option for you?
I think for me, I was quite happy to just sit behind him because I knew I had the better straight line speed. So I wanted to wait until the final lap because I was right behind him for the majority of the race. So I just wanted to see if I could make that move. I completely forgot about how worn your tires are going to be and how rubbery how there's no grip on the outside. I completely forgot about that. So I went for the move and I just couldn't get the grip. And I feel like what I did was best for me at the time.
Yeah, and you certainly can't say you didn't throw the kitchen sink at Micah. He's very much the man of the moment, and you certainly impressed us today with your performances. David, did you have anything to ask James?
No, maybe race 2 was the we saw the incident with the one that spun Micah around and dropped him further away. Did you have any damage from the contact? Did you get through unscathed? Any time performance
So that's
loss?
the Hyman incident where you both went either side of Hyman, right?
Yeah, was this the one with 3 cars that basically just
turn 13, wasn't it?
Yeah. I did get damage from that. I got damage on the front right. So it was blue there. So
Do you
a bit
think if that hadn't
understeering,
happened, you might have had a chance at Phylin? Because you were closing on him despite that. So I think Phylin will probably tell us in a minute that he was backing off. But
yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So no reason to not suspect that James Knox can't be a winner in Academy. He certainly got as close as you can without winning in the 2 races today. But
Yeah.
but still, thanks for coming to talk to us, James. It's lovely as always, and best of luck for the rest of the season. That was an immense pair of drives today.
Brilliant. Thanks, man.
Yes, right. So who's left to talk to us? Shall we have a chat with? I'd love to drag Dexter in, but I think him and Scarpelli are currently both trying to watch something. Shall we drag Scarpelli in and then see if Dexter wants to talk to us? Domenico, is it okay? We have an interview? Sorry, this is the only way I thought to ask you. By just doing it in the interview. But anyway, thanks for coming to talk to us. I know race 1, not too much to say because you got disconnected, came back in 4 laps down, and generally did a good job of staying out of trouble because we saw you coming out the pits and desperately trying to get out of everyone's way. And that was, I know, disappointing for you. But race 2, much better run for you because you were in the top 11 in the end, wasn't it? Just behind Aaron Curtis? Yeah, we didn't see. Oh dear. You weren't the one that hit Tong, were you? Oh dear, well, Tong did the whole final lap. I thought he was going to go in the pits to retire, but he just carried on and still got P18. So. Okay. Well, I can hear me, but oh, there we go. So, shall we start the interview again, Domenico? Okay, so race 1, you got disconnected, 4 laps down, bad. Not your fault, obviously. Race 2, crazy fight. You finish P12, and there's an incident at the end with Tong, and Tong finishes the race with no front wing and no left front wheel. So talk us through that.
I mean, the end was pretty funny. To
Oh,
be fair.
and now we can't hear Domenico at all, unfortunately. So
Oh
if
my
you
God.
are speaking, Domenico, I can't hear you.
Oh my god. Oh, I don't know.
This is what happens when I try and do too many interviews. It just it doesn't work.
You can bring Joshua Dexter in it for the meantime while it gets sorted out. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
well,
we
I'm
can-
sorry, Domenico, but unfortunately, I'm not sure if it's showing up on stream, but we
Let's
certainly
fix
can't hear
it.
you. So
I can
unfortunately,
do
we're
the
going to
last
have
interview,
to
it's
end the
fine.
interview early there. But we got a couple of words in. That was a bit chaotic from both our ends, so apologies for that.
Oh no.
But let's drag Joshua Dexter in and see what he has to say about his races. Joshua, is it okay if we have a quick interview with you before we
Yes.
end?
I might also need to be
Absolutely.
muted as well because I might also be muted on the thing.
Ah, okay.
Well, we can do the interview together at this point.
Well,
I
I
don't
can.
know,
Well, I just put the broadcast on and I could hear myself, but I've.
I ended up hearing Dominic because I messaged Remco, but I don't know if Remco muted.
Okay. Shall we just do the interview regardless of whether it ends up on stream or not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Why
I mean,
not?
we
Bit
can
of
do
fun.
it.
Okay. So
Let's do
third
it
on the grid, it was a great qualifying for you, and then you were defensive for pretty much all of race 1. And unfortunately, there was, I think it was Kurt that tagged you around, sadly, from his point of view, unintentionally, I think, at turn 13. And I could tell you were a little bit angry and upset about it because you were immediately back on the both of them. And unfortunately, could only finish P5 in the end. So race 1 promised a lot, didn't quite go to plan, sadly for you.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, if you look at race 2, it went pretty well. That didn't particularly go quite good. I looked on the stream afterwards, it's just me flying across the track. But yeah, no, in race 1, what I did notice is that they had gone for a lower downforce, and because I wasn't able to break out of the slipstream, they were keeping up on the straights because they were in my slipstream, and then in the corners as well, they were just able to keep up, and it was just taking a hammer in. And I think eventually it was gonna cave in and they were gonna overtake me, but maybe if there was like a little chance, I think it would have been trying worth to defend. But I mean, at the end of the day, I did the best, and I think in that incident at the final corners, I think I might have turned in too early because I trying to just like cut him off. But I think, yeah, I'll put it on me. I don't want to put it on Kurt because it was, I think, just racing. But yeah, no, race 1, I think really good qualifying, which I was quite happy with. And then race 2, not race 1. Yeah, no, not race 2. Race 1, yeah, I think it was just a case of I didn't get out the slipstream. I didn't get him out of the slipstream, and then he was just able to capitalize on downforce.
But certainly that was one of your best performances we've seen in a while. So despite the finishing position not reflecting that, I think you could definitely feel proud of that defensive drive, because it certainly entertained me and David in the commentary box, if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think because I don't think I really had much like defensive drives in the past. Because I mean, last race in Bahrain, it was kind of more of an overtake a few people, and then I just wasn't able to get past the car ahead, and then, well, race 2 also didn't go to plan. So I think I just got a bit of a thing for race 2s, which isn't very ideal. But
you don't seem to be the only one, if there's any consolation.
There's a lot of people that seem to just get taken out or whatever, which is.
Or just spin out on their own in some cases, like poor Aaron Curtis. While leading, spun out.
Oh, wait, was he leading? Or
he was leading Luca Filin by about half a second or so, and then just spun out under pressure at turn 5 and 6, I think.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
He did get back out to P10 by the end, so it wasn't a total disaster. But you, on the other hand, entertaining us with that attempt to get past, was it Bassoni for P19 right at the end there? And unfortunately,
yeah.
off track.
I think what happened there, well, I tried to go around the outside, and I'm not sure whether he might have had a little bit of oversteer or something, but I think he either just forgot I was there, and then he tried to go to the outside, and that knocked me off. So it was not the best end to the race, but I suppose you just got to deal with it. Can't really do much now, can you?
Nope, that's true. But anyway, still a strong performance from you, Joshua, and I'm sure you're going to build on it next time in round 3, and we're going to see you fighting for those top positions once more, as we hoped you would. Always, we like to cheer everyone on here, but we know you've been competing in a while and slowly getting better every time you get in the seat in Academy, so it's always a joy to watch you.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, I think, well, the plan is hopefully at some point trying to get into the maybe FS2 Academy, but we'll see when the time comes, because I don't want to like rush into it, because I did a few last year, which didn't go very well, so I'm not trying to like rush into it. I'm just trying to make sure that I do have the pace before I send myself into a bit of a hellhole.
Wow, if only there were 2 FS2 team owners in this interview room right now. But but I think both of us have already got full lineups. But well, we'll see. We'll keep in touch, Josh.
Oh no.
Anyway, but thanks for talking to us, and best of luck. We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
See you maybe soon, possibly.
Anyway, so David, I think that's the interview's done then. So any final thoughts before we sign off, reflecting on the action we've seen today?
Oh, difficult to say. Like James Knox again, I nearly overlooked a double second, a very consistent drive. I've seen Aaron Curtis promise here in the Academy car. I've seen Steve Combi that had a also was keeping the fast guys honest. Very good racecraft too. So seeing some, and also the starts were for the most part what I saw rather calm, no big accidents. So I hope this continues, and we'll see how in like the Melbourne Academy round if this keeps going. But I'm looking forward to them, and more great races with the likes of like Rohdiaf and Kuritz too, because they surely put on some great action today.
Yes, Melbourne, high-speed street circuit. What could possibly go wrong in Academy?
Nothing.
But anyway, thank you very much for joining me, David. Congratulations to our 2 winners today, Mateus Micah and Luca Filing in races 1 and 2, respectively. And congrats to all our drivers for making it to the end of both races, of course. But I've been Edward Hunter. He's been David Jundt. Remco de Zeeuw has been doing the broadcast direction beautifully through the whole day. Thank you very much for watching Academy. And remember, it won't be long now before we get our full season back up to speed with FS2 in Melbourne next week, of course. So make sure you tune in for that. I've got a season preview video to get back to working on. But anyway, thank you for watching Academy, and good night for now.